So I already gave my thoughts on Blue Beetle with Dusk Friday. We ended up giving it both streamits. And overall, I thought it was just a decent film. Nothing too crazy, nothing too amazing, but I was just like, it's okay. It's all right to say the least of it. But Nick wasn't on that review when we did Friday, so I would love to hear Nick's thoughts. So Nick, what do you think about Blue Beetle?
So me, with the character of Blue Beetle, he was a character that I wasn't really familiar with until I saw him featured in shows like Batman, Brave and the Bold, like Young Justice, even further appearances in Injustice 2. And I was really mostly looking forward to this film, mostly off of the strength of Xolo Maridueña, who I really got to know on Cobra Kai, and he plays Miguel on there, and he has so much screen presence and charm and charisma on that show that I can only imagine that some studio was going to want to snatch him up to play a superhero. And I think he does a fantastic job here. I think Xolo manages to inject so much heart and humanity into this movie, which, while I do agree with you that this movie doesn't do anything really new with the superhero genre, it's really taking things back to basics. This is a very, very simple origin story about Jaime Reyes and about the importance of his familial connections that I think has really been lost in a lot of comic book films, especially just this past couple years with stuff like The Flash or Shazam, Fury of the Gods, or Black Adam. Those movies are so obsessed with just upping the scale that they forget to, be about the character first. And I think this movie did an admirable job with that. Another highlight of this movie, I think, was Bruna Marquezine, who plays Jenny Cord in this. She's mostly there to introduce a lot of world building, to be love interest for Jaime, but I think she has a lot of her own agency, and she probably has one of the bigger emotional arcs throughout the movie. What really separates this above a lot of DC's films is its storytelling and its script and its pathos, which has really been lost. And the action is really solid for this. There are a lot of it reminded me of how James Wan filmed it with Aquaman. You're not using quick cuts. You're using more long takes. You're seeing the suit in action and seeing all of the different toys that a character like Blue Beetle gives you to play with. And it was all really fun. I had a great time with this movie. I'm glad I got to see it in a theater. I give this a tune in.
Nice review. On. Yeah, quick review too. Did it all in basically the length of the trailer. Nice. Very, very nice. So I liked it. I gave it a stream it basically. This is the first film in James Gunn's DCU, so he's claimed this is like this. Even though this was in development long before he took over, this was still in the Hamada era at Warner Brothers. Yeah. And David Zaslav, this was originally supposed to be on HBO Max, but then he pushed for it to be in theaters, which I don't know why he would push for this to be in theaters, but not Batgirl, because Batgirl seems like most people would know Batgirl more than Blue Beetle, since Batgirl's got the Batman connection. So, but I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of that's there. But
well, this was I think the timeline's mixed up there. So Batgirl and Blue Beetle were both meant to come straight to HBO Max. That was one of Walter Mata's calls during the pandemic. They got them all. They got production on both of them up and running, and I guess he liked what he saw enough to push it for. Okay, we're gonna drop both of them in theaters now. So let's see what they do. Especially, I think this was after Top Gun Maverick came out and say, "Hey, movies can make money in the theaters again. So let's just go ahead and give it a shot." Right. Enter David Zaslav.
Oh God.
Who said, yeah, what are those two characters that you have? You said they're Latino? Okay, flip a coin, cancel one of them.
Pretty much,
what's that? What's the actor playing the Flash? Yeah, it's Ezra Miller. He's got like a whole bunch of different charges, grooming allegations. What color is he? He's white? Okay, throw all the marketing money towards him.
It was the Walking Dead effect. Two POC can't exist in the same place.
Exactly. The second you saw one person of color on The Walking Dead, and you saw another one on screen. It was like, oh, you dead.
Someone's gotta
die.
Let's see. Lucky Dog Podcast here. He comments. It says, as a non-Mexican Latino, like the family and culture values shown, superhero stuff was fine. He also said the music was good here. And he also says, I think the advertising budget for Bad Girl would have been triple what they did for Blue Beetle.
Well, triple a zero is still zero.
They didn't even get to finish it, bro.
No, they finished it.
Did they finish Bad Girl?
Yeah, it's all wrapped in the can. They were in post-production before.
I thought they were like on the. Oh wow,
they were wrapped.
Now I'm really mad.
I remember when it was canceled. Like they said, like the cast and crew had their own private screening of it, even, and like that's it. We don't know. That movie's locked in the vault. Never gonna see it again.
You don't know how little Warner Brothers gave a shit about promoting this. In like the little cardboard cutouts that they threw out in various different Barnes and Nobles, Hot Topics on there, they still have Batgirl listed on the upcoming projects.
Hey, look, Warner Brothers employees. The strike is happening. Everybody's distracted. If y'all want to just put it on a hard drive, put it on Dropbox. I got you.
Somewhere.
Right?
Give us the Deadpool treatment. Just leave it. We don't know who does it.
Just plug it. Just put it somewhere. I won't tell.
Yeah. So, thank you, Look at the podcast, for those comments there. Is there echo? I hear echo there. Like somebody's playing the stream, anything like that?
I don't hear one. No.
Okay.
No, I'm home alone.
Okay. So yeah, thank you for those comments there. So yeah, I agree with Lucky Dog Podcast. When I did the review of it, I constantly hammered home of the family stuff, the cultural value stuff. I thought that was all really good and that shined. And that was basically the heart of the movie. Loved all the stuff they do with his family, like George Lopez, for instance, was really good. Loved kind of.
Yeah, I was kind of rolling my eyes at George Lopez in the trailer, but I'm surprised they let his character have that much pathos, even though he is essentially Mexican Alfred in the movie.
And that's great.
And I love it.
Yeah, you always need a guy in the chair. Always need a guy in the chair. And he's that. I mean, he's this expert hacker, good at, everything, kind of guy, gadgets, all this stuff, I
mean, it's DC Comics. I mean, the education system in the world of DC Comics is outstanding.
There are a lot of hackers.
Pretty much every single person in Batman's rogue gallery has at least like an MBA or a PhD.
Yeah.
Dick Grayson could have been teaching philosophy if he wasn't out in Bloodhaven fighting crime.
So you got that. So I love that. I love the stuff with his grandmother and his mom and dad and all that. I thought all that stuff. It's just the superhero stuff for the superhero movie falls so incredibly flat. Susan Sarandon, I just feel like they didn't even try with her. They didn't give her anything to do. Victoria Cord in this, who is Susan Sarandon's character, she is criminally underwritten, but I thought that Sarandon was doing as much scenery chewing as possible in order to keep it entertaining, which I was.
And how was she looking, though?
She was good. She's
fine.
Somebody said she kind of had like a Hillary Clinton haircut in it, and I was like, "Oh, I guess I kind of see."
Still fine as hell.
Hey, I still would.
Yeah. So I think when you hear a lot of people, I said in the review that a lot of people say it's generic. It's an amalgamation of all these other superhero movies, which it is. You can look into. So it coming out in 2023, it's just like they don't have any real good fresh spin on the superhero stuff. It's not like the other superhero movies that we've seen this year. Like some of the other ones, it's like, well, at least with Spider-Verse, it's like it's transformative, it's genre defining, it's like it's breaking new ground with a lot of the stuff it's doing. Guardians, with Guardians, it's like, well, hey, this is the closing chapter of this a movie that a franchise that started a lot of the trends in a lot of comic book movies when it first came out in 2014.
Beautiful movie.
So it has that.
Yeah, it started the system of Hollywood having faith in some of these lesser known characters. Like if Guardians isn't as big of a hit, then we're not getting a Blue Beetle movie.
Exactly.
Yeah. Lucky Dog Park says better than Ant-Man 3. I'd say it's better than Ant-Man.
Not a high bar.
I'd say it's better than Ant-Man 3.
Oh, let's be nice. You're not wrong, but
it's the best DC movie DC has put out all year. The past 2 years, I'd say.
Yeah.
Over the Batman?
Really? You think
Scratch
that?
The like second best movie. Second best movie.
I was about to say, the Batman is good.
Yeah. So I would say it's better than Black Adam, definitely, and it's better than Shazam 2. It's I think and it's the
again not a high bar to clear.
No,
not a high bar to clear. So this year it's the Blue Beetle is the only fresh movie that they've had this year, and it's better than the Flash. I think it's better than the Flash too. So it's only a fresh movie that they've.
I forgot that movie existed until y'all said something.
Yeah. So I don't know how well it's gonna do. Me and Dust were talking about it. It has a budget of 125 million, so it probably needs to get up to 400 million to be successful. I don't know, maybe it'll just stick around there in the top 10 and just kind of like something like Elemental, where it just kind of just picks up some money and then do that.
Yeah,
fingers. It doesn't have any big competition coming out.
Yeah, the biggest competition would probably it's all stuff that's already come out and people have already seen. It's like the biggest competitions for this would have been Barbie and Oppenheimer, and well, those are already kind of on their last legs as far as the box office goes. And the budget on this 104 million so far. It's grossed about 43.4, which not bad.
Yeah,
not bad for opening weekend.
So maybe
it'll Beetle Battalion.
We did it.
We did it, baby. It's number one at the box office. Just because you're number one at the office doesn't mean you're on top.
Hey, it's only a matter of time before Dune comes out.
Yeah, when does Dune come out?
Dune,
November.
November. Right? All the big ones are in November. I can't think of any big ones in
November is when the studios really start pushing for award season.
Holiday season, kids out of school. Yeah, it's that time.
Yeah. So the only, because next coming up is Gran Turismo. I don't expect that to be huge competition for this. Maybe, I don't know. Then there's Equalizer 3 with Denzel Washington.
Well, I'm seeing that.
Yeah, so there's that. So I don't expect it to be huge competition for it in the next coming weeks there that this has. But yeah. And there's also, as I mentioned in the review Friday, that there are 2 post-credit scenes. There's 2, one mid-credit scene and one end-credit scene. One you have to see, or if you wanted to, there's one that's important to the story. Yeah. And then after that, there's one that's not. You don't have to stay for that.
One's important to the story. The other is like this cute little stop-motion animated short of a character that was featured earlier in the movie.
Okay.
Yeah, so you don't have to really stay after the end of the credits. But I like one of the post credits because it's just talking about this movie. It's not bringing in Gal Gadot doesn't show up. So
you're not
hearing that guitar.
You're not hearing the fucking guitar riff. You're not seeing Gal Gadot sleepwalk her way through another like $10 million paycheck.
Yeah, she's not showing up with her and her music. So that's not happening. So no.
Yep. Ben Affleck isn't showing up in this to give us one last glimpse of what might have been with his Batman.
Yeah, they're not showing up. Do you want to join a team or anything like that?
Morbius happening.
I'm putting together a league. I'm putting together a young Justice League.
Yeah. So you guys don't really care, right?
Not yet.
Okay, so Ted Kord was hinted at as being an active Blue Beetle in this movie's history. In fact, the entire opening credit scene of the Scarab flying to Earth, it's just over news clips of both Dan Garrett and Ted Kord in news articles about them being the Blue Beetle. Okay. And throughout the course of this movie, Kord has been missing for over 20 years. And in the mid-credit scene, we get recordings from Ted broadcasting in his lab to tell them that, hey, tell Jenny that I'm alive. And there's no actor credited for him, but there is like a little oil painting of the Kord family. And the guy that is, I'm guessing, Ted Kord looks suspiciously like Jason Sudeikis.
Ooh.
It's not confirmed. Before, people start flipping shit out.
Okay. All right. Let me calm down.
Wow.
Okay. That sounds fire.
Yeah. So Ted Kord is going to be a character in this. And James Gunn has already said that Cholo Maridueña's Blue Beetle will return in the course of his DC universe, which I'm happy to, because this movie represents a fresh start for the universe without all the baggage of Zack Snyder's Zack Snyder's crew.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
All of that.
Yeah. So that's kind of the thing in there. Which somebody compared it. I was listening to a reviewer. His name is Mark Kermode, British guy, and he says kind of like a Spy Kids movie, but he didn't say that in like a derogatory sense. It was like a compliment, which I don't really like the Spy Kids movies like all that much. And it's funny that George Lopez. I mean, he was also in Spy Kids too. But
he was.
Yeah. So I kind of get that feeling of it, in a good way, like especially when they do the whole jumping in the Beetle ship and everything like that. You see it in the trailer and everything. So that's kind of very, and then stuff with the grandmother, or even the big, because Spy Kids was also very big on family too. The whole big. So it does kind of have that feeling to it, but and I feel like this movie also skews a little bit younger than most superhero movies do.
I would say this is like a very soft PG-13. In fact, if there weren't for heavier thematic elements around one of the film's villains with Carapax or Obac, who's played by Raul Max Trujillo, I think you could have gotten this a PG rating.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I don't know how that works, because I mean they are cursing a lot in Spanish. You hear a lot of cabrones, you hear a lot of that.
Hey, it ain't in English.
Yeah, so I don't know. They say that a lot, so I don't know how that works in other places. I don't know, like in Mexico, how that would work, or in other Latin American countries. I don't know.
I'm sure they're cool with it. They say it all the time.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, but so yeah.
And Josh, they got another Spy Kids coming out, right?
With Joe
Shazam.
Gina
Rodriguez.
And Zachary Levi. It's like,
no, thank you.
I mean, come on.
We went from
Carla Gugino and Antonio Banderas. Too hot.
Dude, I'd even take Jessica Alba and Joel McHale.
Yeah,
that's what I was thinking of.
I never saw that one.
No, nobody did.
And I ride for Community. Even I was like, nah, Joe, not this.
That was what, Spy Kids 4 that they were in or something?
All the time in the world, or something like that.
That was it.
Yeah. But first one had Antonio Banderas, Carla Gugino in it.
Danny Trejo. That's where Machete was born.
Oh yeah, George Lopez in this is basically Uncle Machete.
Okay. I'm all in.
Nothing, it's just hard to recommend to people. It's like, if you do have superhero fatigue, Blue Beetle isn't gonna go like, it's not, like I said, it's not something like Spider-Verse where it's so transformative of the genre. It's kind of like, it's all right, you know what I mean? It's okay. I wouldn't say like go rush out, but I think I kind of liked this about as much as I liked Transformers: Rise of the Beasts earlier this year. And that wasn't really revolutionary or like changing anything major with that subgenre of movies, but it's a really solid entry that I really want to watch again.
Agreed. I really had fun with that movie, more than I thought I was.
Yeah. Nick gave what's your rating for Blue
I gave
Beetle?
it a tune in
for Blue Beetle. So that was Nick's review of Blue Beetle, spoiler review.